Welcome back to Pop Decoded, where we dissect the music industry's biggest mysteries. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jordan. Today we're talking about someone who's been absolutely everywhere this year, and I mean everywhere, Sabrina Carpenter.
Dude, you literally cannot escape her. I was at a coffee shop yesterday and Espresso was playing. Then I got in my car and it was on the radio. Then I opened TikTok and there she was doing some suggestive dance move that has parents losing their minds.
Right? And here's the thing that's got everyone talking. This didn't happen overnight, but it also kind of did. Like, she's been around for a decade, but suddenly in 2024, she's the hottest thing since sliced bread.
Which brings us to today's question. Is Sabrina Carpenter a carefully crafted industry creation? Or are we just witnessing a naturally talented artist finally getting her moment?
Because let me tell you, after diving deep into this rabbit hole, the answer is way more complicated than you'd think.
So let's start at the beginning. Sabrina Carpenter wasn't some random girl who got discovered at a mall. She was literally building a soundproof booth in her basement at 10 years old because she was singing so much it was bothering the neighbors.
10 years old, and she's already uploading covers to YouTube. Then she places third in some Miley Cyrus fan club contest, which honestly sounds like the most 2009 thing ever.
But here's where it gets interesting. That tiny win put her on a casting director's radar. She starts getting small acting roles, even an episode of Law & Order SVU, and then boom, Girl Meets World on Disney Channel.
Now, she didn't get the lead role. She played Maya, the troublemaker best friend. But Disney saw something in her because they immediately signed her to Hollywood Records and pushed out her first single.
Can't blame a girl for trying. I remember that song. It was very Disney safe, very wholesome, very much what you'd expect from a 15-year-old Disney star.
And for the next few years, she's doing exactly what Disney child stars do. She releases 4 albums between 2015 and 2019. They chart okay, nothing spectacular, but she's building a fan base.
But here's the key thing. By 2019, she's got this weird position in pop culture. People know her face, but she's not really a must-hear voice. She's that girl from that Disney show who also sings.
And that's when things get really interesting, because someone, somewhere, decided that wasn't enough. That she had too much potential to just fade away like so many other Disney stars.
This is where we need to talk about what the industry calls artist development. And folks, this is where things get a little dark.
So Sabrina herself has talked about this. She said she was 12 when she signed her first contract. 12. And she admits she didn't read it because, she was 12.
She's talked about how there was a lot of political stuff she had to say yes to, songs that became singles that she didn't think should be singles, and she had no say in what she wore.
She literally said if she wasn't as defiant as she was, she would have lost herself completely. That's a direct quote from someone who's supposed to be living the dream.
And this brings us to something that happens to almost every pop star, especially child stars. They hit a plateau. Think about it. Miley had her twerking phase. Ariana went from Nickelodeon princess to dangerous woman. Even Lady Gaga had to completely reinvent herself.
There's this unspoken rule in the industry that you have to sexualize everything to reach the next level. And in 2021, Sabrina's Disney deal expires and she signs with Island Records.
So the timing is perfect. She's 22, she's a legal adult, and she's ready for her transformation.
And almost immediately, fans start posting side-by-side photos. Now, we're not here to speculate about what procedure she may or may not have had, but her look definitely evolved. More defined features, more mature styling.
Her first single under Island Records was Skin, which everyone thought was a diss track to Olivia Rodrigo. Whether it was or not, it got her more headlines than anything from her Disney era.
But the real masterstroke was her next album, Emails I Can't Send. Critics loved it, fans obsessed over nonsense, and she developed this whole thing where she does improvised city-specific outros during her tour.
Those outros are genius marketing, by the way. Every city gets their own moment, fans film it, it goes viral, and suddenly she's trending in every city she visits.
And then Taylor Swift's team books her as an opener for the Eras Tour. Game over. That's like getting a PhD in pop stardom.
Which brings us to April 2024 and Espresso. This is where everything explodes.
The song debuts at number 7 on the Hot 100. hits #1 in the UK, and suddenly she's not just that Disney girl anymore, she's everywhere.
But look at what happens to her image. Gone are the Disney-appropriate outfits. Now she's in fitted designer tops, thigh-high miniskirts, sky-high platform heels. The aesthetic is completely different.
It's this perfectly calculated blend of 80s synth pop and old Hollywood glamour. Very deliberate, very expensive looking.
And then come the brand deals. Rihanna's Savage Fenty lingerie campaign, Kim Kardashian's Shims shapewear campaign, a digital Vogue cover.
These aren't accidents. These are strategic moves to position her as a mature, sexy pop star. This is a complete rebrand.
For short and sweet, they bring in the heavy hitters. Jack Antonoff, who's produced Taylor Swift's biggest hits, Ian Kirkpatrick, who did Dua Lipa's New Rules, and Amy Allen, who's written for Harry Styles.
3 proven hitmakers, each playing a different role. This isn't some organic artistic collaboration. This is a pop music assembly line.
And it works. The album debuts at #1 and becomes the 3rd biggest debut of 2024.
But here's where the controversy really starts to happen. Her live shows become increasingly suggestive. There's this whole bedcam outro where dancers simulate foreplay with her on stage.
And parents are losing their minds because she still has Disney fans in the audience. Kids who grew up watching Girl Meets World are now watching her essentially perform simulated sex acts.
Sabrina's defense is basically, I'm a normal amount of horny and I'm just having fun. Which, okay, fair enough. But it raises questions about who's making these creative decisions.
Because here's the thing, this whole transformation feels almost too perfect. The timing, the team, the brand deals, the controversy, it's like someone took a marketing textbook and executed it flawlessly.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Is Sabrina Carpenter an industry plant?
The term has been thrown around a lot, with some calling her exactly that, while others defend her 10-year-long career.
But here's the technical definition. An industry plant is someone who's presented as an organic grassroots success, while actually being heavily manufactured by record labels.
Sabrina doesn't really fit that definition. She's been in the industry for over 10 years. She's had hits and misses. She's been transparent about her team and her process.
But there's something else going on here that might be more interesting than the industry plant debate.
What if she's not an industry plant, but something else entirely? What if she's a case study in how the modern music industry can take a talented artist and optimize them for maximum commercial success?
Think about it. She had the talent, the look, the work ethic, but she was stuck in this Disney box. So they systematically removed her from that box and rebuilt her for a different audience.
The facial changes, the wardrobe evolution, the sexual awakening, the brand partnerships, it's all very calculated, but it's also very effective.
And here's what's really smart about it. She's driving the car. She's not just a puppet. She's actively participating in her own transformation.
When asked about misconceptions, she specifically mentions that people think she doesn't write her music. She's proud of her songwriting contributions. She's not hiding behind her team.
But the machinery around her is undeniably massive. There were even conspiracy theories about Spotify automatically playing her music, which shows how omnipresent she's become.
And that brings us to the really controversial part. The album cover for what people thought was going to be called Man's Best Friend.
Oh my God, that image. Her on all fours with a guy holding her by the hair. The internet absolutely lost their minds.
Feminists called it regressive. Others called criticism of it misogynistic. It was the perfect culture war moment.
And that's when you realize how genius this whole campaign is. They got attention from Disney fans, from feminists, from anti-feminists, from men who just like attractive women. Everyone was talking about Sabrina Carpenter.
As one industry insider put it, the plan is too big to fail. And at this point, it's hard to see who's really pulling the strings.
But here's what worries me about all this. We've seen this story before. Artists who get caught up in these massive marketing machines and lose themselves.
Katy Perry, Britney Spears, even Taylor Swift has talked about the pressure to constantly reinvent yourself for commercial success.
There's this quote from someone who's met Sabrina multiple times, and they said every time they see her, they want to ask her if she's okay, if she's getting enough sleep, because they've been in that situation.
The constant touring, the constant promotion, the constant pressure to be on. It's not sustainable long term.
And that's the real question here. Not whether Sabrina Carpenter is an industry plant, but whether she's going to be able to maintain control of her own narrative.
Because right now, she's on top of the world. Multiple #1 hits, chart-topping albums, sold-out tours, but the music industry has a way of chewing up even the most talented artists.
The machinery that created this version of Sabrina Carpenter is incredibly powerful, but it's also incredibly hungry. It always needs more content, more controversy, more engagement.
And at some point you have to ask, is this sustainable? Can someone maintain this level of calculated perfection without burning out?
Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. Sabrina Carpenter's rise to fame is one of the most perfectly executed pop music campaigns we've ever seen.
Whether that's a good thing or a warning sign depends on your perspective, but it's definitely worth paying attention to.
So what do you think? Is Sabrina Carpenter a genius who's gaming the system, or is she a talented artist who's being used by the system?
Maybe it's both. Maybe that's what makes her story so fascinating and so concerning at the same time.
Let us know what you think in the comments. Are you Team Sabrina, or do you think something fishy is going on?
And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the music industry's biggest mysteries. Until next time, keep questioning everything you see on your